it's my pleasure to welcome our speaker, Mr. Fahid, for this particular session. Welcome you, sir. I welcome our advisor, Dr. G. Samandan, and all the participants for the third day session. Welcome you all. So with this, I would like to request our advisor to invite and introduce our speaker. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Dana. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Mr. Fahid. We are on the third day of this third phase of our series of training program from AICTE sponsored program on cyber security and resilience of smart grid. Today's speakers are from Kalki Tech. Mr. Fahid is the Director CSS of Kalki Tech. He has taken his BTech degree from Calicut University in 2001 and has 18 years of industrial experience in product management, business development for Sync products in Americas and Europe. His core area of expertise are automatic fault analysis, remote access system solutions for utilities, substation automation system solutions, distribution automation solutions, legacy devices upgrade options, protocol design and implementation like IEC 61850, IEC 60870, SPA and C37.118. The list goes on, and he has a lot of core experience on this particular area, and I'm happy that he has accepted to deliver his lecture. Welcome, Mr. Fahid, and now I hand over the platform to you.
Thank you, sir. So, good morning, dear students. I think all are available, and I would have preferred a live, direct interactive session. But since the situation is this, let's start.
Mr. Fahid, the attendees are 90% are teachers.
Oh,
they are all
okay,
the faculty
okay,
members.
Okay,
and some of them are research scholars. Of course.
Okay. Sorry, I was not aware of that. I thought this is session.
No. Very nice. But they're all completed PG and doing PhD, and somebody completed a PhD also. About 60 people are joining now. They're all teachers in various engineering colleges across the country. I think registration has come from Orissa, Uttar Pradesh, Punjab, Jammu. IIT Roorkee also has some people have registered from Maharashtra, of course, from Tamil Nadu and Andhra Pradesh and all that.
Okay,
right?
Fine.
Okay, you carry on.
So in this session, I have a basic introduction of 61850, then moving on to the overview of 61850. So two sessions are planned. So you have any question, do type it on the chat window. It will be a pleasure for me to answer after each session. So we will start with introduction to 61850. Hope you can see my slide, right, madam? Agenda slide you can see, right? I'm just checking.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So these are the agenda items for the first session. So we will start with the basics like a substation, what are the communication requirement, different layers of communicating on the substation side. Then moving on to process level, bay level, station level, communication between these layers, and why 61850 is a future-proof standard, what is importance of 61850, then 61850 network, different communication levels, then difference between other protocol and 61850, report goose and sample values of 61850, substation configuration language, that is nothing but XML representation of the data for in terms of 61850, then its scope, files and interactions, and traditional and 61850 communication network. This is the agenda of first session. Moving on to substation and its communication requirement. So there are different levels of substations and its data processing capability and different levels, there are entirely different. So we can have a process level with the process equipment, CTVT and circuit breaker. Bay level will be having multiple IEDs or relays, and bay level equipments and other things are there. And on the station level, we have HMI, SCADA and other items are there in the station level. So 3 level: process, bay and station level, and there need to be complete data exchange between these layers and within these layers. So that are major target in 600. So moving on to substation communication layers again. So process level has multiple sensors, actuators, remote process interfaces at the process level. Bay level has protection control equipments at the bay level. Then station level has got HMI, alarms and other functionality embedded on the station level. So these are major 3 levels addressed in 600. Then moving on to details of process level. So process level consists of current transformers, voltage transformer, and which are used to measure current and voltages, conducting equipment like circuit breakers, isolator to control the flow of the current. Then bay level consists of relays, multiple vendor relays will be there at bay, data concentrator or protocol gateways will be there, remote terminal unit or RTUs will be there, bay controllers will be there at the bay level. So these are multiple equipments that constitute the bay level. Moving on to station level, we will be having SCADA, or what we call it as a supervisory control and data acquisition system, to monitor and control all the items in process as well as bay level. Then manual triggers can be given, manual commands and other things can be done at the SCADA system. External communication gateway can be there, that can be from one station to another station or station to control center. Multiple communication scenarios are there. Then storage of events for the future analysis, alarm and events can be there at the station. Then moving on to substation within the between the layers. So we need to have a communication from the process level equipments to bay level equipments. That is, process level you have transformers, breakers, everything in the process level, and we need to send these raw measurement from the CTVTs to the bay level equipment, including the trip, status signal, everything to the bay level equipment. Then bay level to station level, that is all the IEDs need to send its SOE, status, everything to the station level. So this constitute measurement, status and command from the bay level to station level. Then intercommunication between multiple bay level equipments. So the key scenario here is there can be multiple IEDs or intelligent electronics devices, or we call it as also relays. So between each relay will be having a specific function. Some will be over voltage protection, over current protection, frequency protection. So a lot of functions can be there in the multiple IEDs in the bay level. So this can be distributed function, that is, one device is performing one function and its outputs are needed by another device to perform trips and other signal. So there need to be an intercommunication between different equipments in a bay level, that is between multiple IEDs in the bay level. So that is done by the intercommunication between bay level equipments. So these are the 3 scenarios of communication in 61850. Process level equipment to bay level to station, then within multiple bay level equipment. So these scenarios we will be detailing. Moving on to, there are multiple protocols multiple standard. So what is so important of 61850? Why is 61850 is said to be a future-proof standard? The first thing, when they formed a standard, they want a complete interoperability between the device, irrespective of any vendor. It can be ABB, GE, Cell, or any other equipment manufacturer can be there. But once for one function, if a Siemens IED is selected, for another function there can be GE IED selected, but they want a complete interoperability between the device and devices to the monitoring equipment or monitoring SCADA. They want a complete interoperability. That was prime aim of the standard. So multiple vendor tool is there, multiple different devices are there, and we want a complete interoperability between all the system. That is the prime aim of 618. Then as other protocol is completely, the data model is completely independent of protocol scenario. So for example, a current for example, a protocol is there, Modbus, which is very primitive protocol, and there can be IEC 101, 103, and lot of other protocol. All these protocol is ignorant about the data part. So for example, a current in Modbus can come from, in one device it can come from a 2000 address, another device it can come from 3500 address. So there need to be a reference, cross reference with all the vendor, where this I am getting current, where I am getting voltage, where I am getting breaker status. All these detail needed in all other protocol. So 61850 avoided that with a complete hierarchical classification of data. So each functionality, they have classified functionality, and within that functionality multiple data as data object is predefined. For example, there is a over voltage protection. So that is a functionality. So they call it as a PTOV logical node. That is nothing but protection over voltage logical node. So this functionality is common in any vendor device, and whoever want to support an over voltage protection, they need to provide PTOV logical node, nothing but a functionality. And there are mandatory data elements defined under the PTOV logical node, and all need to support the mandatory data element, and there can be optional data elements also. So that is so mandatory as well as optional elements are there, and there can be a tag based or structural representation of data, and every data from any vendor, this will be treated as same. For example, a breaker position, if you take XCBR is the logical node for the breaker, and position is nothing but POS. So XCBR POS is position. Then status value, that is STVAL is the status value. So XCBR1 POS STVAL is the status value of the breaker. Okay, and substation tags can be associated with this, identifying which substation, which feeder, and under that feeder XCBR position status value. Similarly, XCBR position CTL value is nothing but a control value on the breaker. Similarly, complete data representation in a hierarchical way is one of the key perspective of 61850. So user can throw away all the IO list, just connect with an IP to the device, get all its data element, just fetch all the data from the device. It will list you out with all the logical nodes, nothing but functionality supported in the device with the data and its elements. So completely data modeling is one of the key aspects of 61850, and it is handled in detail to ensure auto discovery of complete functionality, data and everything from the device. That is second point. Am I communicating? Is it clear? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay, fine. Then third point is to avoid use of proprietary data that I have mentioned. The key element of this standard is interoperability. So they have tried to avoid.
बाहियात है उसको
Hello.
भाई तो Yes, sir. I muted the participant, sir.
Okay. To avoid extensive use of the proprietary data is one of the key aspects. So need to avoid all the vendor dependent data from the system. It is need to be completely vendor independent. To standard configuration mechanism, other protocol were completely not focusing on representing the configuration mechanism. That is what are my communication aspects, what are the logical nodes, functionality and its data. These are represented as using XML schema and using possible substation objects. We have defined as part of 61850 standard configuration mechanism using an XML schema in an XML language. This configuration is defined. This is one of the key aspects. Then auto configuration discovery, like just giving an IP address, you can connect to the multiple device in the substation and fetch all the data, just giving an IP. That is auto discovery of complete device capabilities, getting the device logical nodes, data and its element in the client system, and that can be completely identified in the client or SCADA and monitored with just giving an IP address. Then fast and reliable communication mechanism. There are TCP IP based models. So data is transmitted over the TCP IP layer. That is reports and other things, that is most common. And for the fast transfer of data, especially the data exchange between the bay level, that is within the bay level, it is directly mapped to the Ethernet interface, and that is sent out for fast data transfer. We call it as a GOOS message, generic object oriented substation events, that is GOOS. So that is using the fast method. Then why 61850 is future proof? This is one of the major concepts. All other protocol like 101, 104 Modbus define actual payload of the system, not only how to transfer the data but actual payload. But 61850 focused on abstract communication service interface. It is nothing but like a API, application programmable interface, API kind of stuff, in which it defines what are the exchange mechanism, what are the functionality need to be achieved, what are the data that need to be exchanged, but it does not define actual payload that need to transfer this data. So abstract communication service interface is an abstract layer, and that defines functionality to be achieved and what are the exchange mechanism available. And actual payload mapping is separately handled in the standard, like mapping of this abstract communication service interface to actual payload, actual protocol like MMS, manufacturing message specification, or web service is dealt with a separate part of the standard. So if, for example, tomorrow MMS is going out, it is obsolete, this standard still persists because ACSI is already available, and it can define a mapping to new set of standard the new set of protocol. What is this data getting mapped to? New set of protocol is very well defined. So that can be updated to new protocol. So this is separating ACSI, Abstract Communication Service interface, and specific communication service mapping is very well separated in this standard. Because of this, 61850 is said to be a future-proof standard. So moving on to ideal 61850 network. So all the device you can see, including the bottom line, you have process equipment, including CT, VTs, modem, circuit breaker in the process level, and on the bay level, multiple IEDs, bay controllers are there. All are connected via Ethernet, and even the station level equipments like a station PC, engineering workstation, HMI, alarms, everything is connected on the Ethernet. So this is the ideal 61850 network. All the buses connected over the Ethernet and communicate. Moving on to the communication layer in detail. So between the station level and bay level equipment, 61850 use manufacturing messaging specification, that is standard, and this uses for the report and other things. So report is whenever there is a change in one of the parameter, you want to send the data, so that is using a manufacturing message specification in the 61850 between the station level and bay level IEDs. And in the inter-communication between multiple IEDs in the bay level or multiple equipments in the bay level is carried out by a part of 61850, which is known as GOOS, Generic Object Oriented Substation Events. This is directly mapped to the Ethernet interface without using the TCP/IP layers. So this is very fast, and between the multiple IEDs in a bay, the communication can happen in a fast mechanism. This is 3 to 4 seconds is what is recommended by the standard for communication. Now moving on to process level to IEDs, that is the raw sample data needed to be sent from process level equipment to the IEDs in the bay. So the standard used is sample value is the methodology for transferring this data from process level equipment to bay level IED. So we call it as a sample value control block and sample value transfer. So these are methodologies used as per the communication protocol. Then, as I mentioned, data identification in older protocols. So, as I mentioned, they are using an IO list for all the protocol. For example, Modbus, you can see current can be from 30,001 address, DNP3 it can be from an object 30 index 01, 103 can be with a function name and an information object address, and this is dependent upon vendor to vendor and changes from one vendor to another vendor in a protocol scenario like a Modbus DNP3 or 103, but there is no stress is given on the data part. There is no data modeling happening. It is vendor specific, and each device can specify where is my current, voltage and other stuff. Whereas in 61850 you can see this is a measurement logical node that is achieving a functionality of measurement, which is called as MMXU, and phase voltage. PHV is phase voltage, and it is phase A instantaneous value is there. So it is measurement, phase voltage, phase A instantaneous value. So voltage from phase A will be represented like this in any vendor system. So if we connect with the IP address and get this tag from a system, we can very well understand this is a phase voltage, phase A, and irrespective of which vendor this is taken, this will be common. So similarly, for any data, similar methodology is adopted. So complete data identification, data modeling is done in 600. This is a comparison of earlier substation and a modern 61850 substation is given in the right side. So earlier substation, all the CT-VT circuit breaker has a hardwiring to the IEDs or relays, multiple vendor relays or IEDs, and from there you can have multiple mechanism like serial, Ethernet, any mechanism for communication is there. But in 61850, this is high-end CT-VT will be there with the merging unit available, and this can have intelligent circuit breaker. Everything is connected together and everything is connected over the Ethernet and can have multiple communication for the process bus, station bus and inter bay bus. All this communication happens over the Ethernet. That is a modern 61850 substation. Moving on to the MMS. So this is the overall architecture we have mentioned, and MMS is used between the bay level equipments to the station level equipment. That is the for data transfer between the bay level equipment to station level. This MMS is used. It is actually a client server architecture over the TCP IP communication layer. So if you know the OSI ISO layers, you will be getting a TCP IP communication layer, and over that MMS sits over that, and it is having a client server architecture in which multiple client can connect to the server, and once the connection is established, it is like a pipe laid between server and client, and data transfer can happen through the pipe and have a communication. So multiple client can connect to a server. So all the IEDs will be on the server side, and multiple SCADA, HMI, multiple system can connect over that, exchange the data with a unique identification of the data names. And there can be higher level features like reporting. That is, whenever I have a change in data, I need to send the data out. Whenever I have a data update, I can send it out. Whenever I have a quality update, I can send the data out. That is a reporting model. Similarly, we have a logging model. The difference is that report is automatically sent out, log is preserved on the SOE buffer, and the client need to request, that is, I want a log from this period to this period, then logs can be sent out. Then similarly setting, that is relay setting download, that is I need to change certain parameters of the relay, then setting can be downloaded. Then file transfer, for example, you need to have a disturbance record file transferred from the IEDs to the station level, then that can go through the file transfer mechanism. Then there can be control mechanism for issuing command to operate breakers and everything, that is given from a SCADA system to the bay level equipment. This can be used. So this is on the MMS side, 61850 MMS. Then moving on to the Goose. So MMS, as I have mentioned, it completely relies on the TCP IP. So all the reliability mechanism adopted in the TCP IP is applicable in the MMS. And this is retransmission and lot of other parameters are there to enable reliability to TCP IP network. So all that is applicable in the MMS, but Goose need to be sent out in a faster basis. So it does not have a flexibility to send the data over the TCP IP layer. So it need to directly go to the OSI networking model Ethernet. That is directly this data need to be sent over the Ethernet layer, So application, data link and physical are the only layers that is coming up, and this need to send out the data within few milliseconds, and as per the recommendation of the standard it is 3 to 4 milliseconds. And another key aspect is to send it out, it does not have a mechanism of client server connection, establishment and sending it out. That will be time consuming procedure. Instead it has a publisher subscriber mode. So every node in the system can subscribe to a goose, and when a publisher, that is who is originating the goose, publishes the goose, those subscribers will be getting the goose out. It is similar to a book getting published to the subscriber. Similar scenario is adopted in the goose, one source, and you can have multiple number of destinations in a network. Then if there is a multiple, for example, there are hundreds of IEDs in a bay level equipment. If we send the goose out, because it is depending upon broadcast or multicast on the Ethernet level. So if you send that out, every network will get congested. So in order to segregate that, we can have virtual LANs within the same physical LAN. So each goose, for example, goose 1 need to be sent to 5 devices, for example. So 5 devices and this subscriber can be put on a virtual LAN on the goose transmit. When we have a goose transmit, this we can specify this is on this virtual LAN, so that message will be transmitted across these devices only, so that entire network will not have a burden of getting this goose which is unwanted for other devices. Then another mechanism is priority tagging. This is nothing but if you want to have a message higher priority, then you can put it, a priority tag provision is there in the Ethernet layer. So you can put a priority tagging on that goose, and once this goose get crossed through the switches, this depending upon the priority tag, it will be getting more preference and it can send it out on a faster manner. So that is on the priority tagging for the faster delivery mechanism. And as I mentioned, this is completely based on Ethernet. So goose application layer and data link and physical will be using Ethernet. Then third communication mechanism. So we have covered bay to station, that is MMS. Bay to station is MMS. Within the bay devices, that is goose. Then third scenario comes up, that is from the process level equipment, CT, VT and breakers, to the bay level equipment, that is IEDs, that is a sampled measurement value, SMV, and or we call it as a sample value control block. So this is high speed transfer of sampled value from all the process devices within continuous transfer, whether it is changing or not changing is a material, continuous transfer, and recommended is 200 microsecond timeline. It is completely transmitted from the process level equipment to the bay level equipment. Bay level equipment takes this, process it and uses it for the protection and other functionality, then send it out to the station level using the protection and other signals can be sent it out station level using MMS, and within, if this need to be informed to other IEDs, this can be sent out using goose mechanism. So that is the. So this is using similar mechanism as that of goose, that is directly this message is embedded onto the Ethernet level and send it out. So it is a faster based transfer of data. It is completely Ethernet based. Then it is used for the raw data transfer, sample data from the process level equipment to the bay level. Then moving on to substation configuration language. So one of the scenario, one of the key advantage, as I mentioned, for 61850 is configuration. It represents the configuration in its XML format. So XML based schema is used to represent complete communication parameter plus all the data model, logical nodes, everything is represented using an XML format, and a schema is defined for the same, and this XML format is known as substation configuration language. In short, it is known as SCL, that is the substation configuration language mechanism. So SCL enables in the interchange of configuration between multiple engineering and different tools. So I have a snapshot of what are the tools available for this exchange. So let's go with the top to bottom approach. That is from top to bottom, we are taking a configuration scenario. So first thing what we need to do is do a specification for a substation. That is, connect this breaker. This is a voltage level, then this breaker is coming, this transformer is coming, and this connection need to be completely defined. We call it as a single line diagram. That is nothing but a substation specification. This is represented by a format known as .SSD, substation specification description format, that is .SSD. Then once that is done, that specifies the substation, we need to take the real data from multiple IEDs. For that IEDs, there will be a superset published in giving its capabilities. So that is known as an ICD file, nothing but IED capability description file. So we for all the IED model, this is published standard. So we can get this from the global database, use it in the system configuration, and this is a real data that is coming from the field using this IEDs or from the IEDs, which is nothing but the ICD file is the IED capability description. So using that, you will be having a link of the substation elements to the actual data. That is, from this IED, this breaker data is coming. This breaker command can be generated given through this IED. Like that, you can have a link between substation SLD to the real data that is coming from the IEDs. So this, once this is done completely, this is known as a superset file for a substation, including all the substation specification and real data that is coming through the IEDs, and that file is known as substation configuration description, nothing but the SCD file. So SSD, IED club together to form an SCD file, substation configuration description, and this is getting downloaded to the IED, specific IEDs through the IED vendor tool, and this is getting downloaded to all the IEDs. So this is the mechanism, configuration mechanism described in 61850. That is the top. That is, first I do the substation specification, then take the real data through the IEDs, through the ICD file, construct everything, every feeder, every transformer, everything is linked, and make an SCD file, and then corresponding IED vendor tool is provided with an SCD file, and corresponding vendor IED you can download from the SCD file the relevant part and download it to the IEDs, and the specific file will be named as a configured IED description, nothing but the CAD file. So this is the workflow which is available. So this is easily available with the ASC 61850 suite, that is SCL manager is used for the engineering purpose. IED Smart is used for the simulating the complete SCD file in a lab environment, and final testing can be done with a client IEC 61850 client tool, multiple format of the SCL files are supported in this. So this is the traditional network. This I have already mentioned, with the bay level equipment connected to the process level with the hardwiring, and other things can be serial or Ethernet or any other communication mechanism. 61850, this replaced by complete Ethernet level is getting replaced in 61850, and this is the ideal 61850 network. So this provides an overview of first session, that is an introduction to 61850, and second session I am taking just now. So this you have provided with a basic introduction. Now I will go to the questions.
Mr. Fahid, I have a question.
Yeah, tell me.
See, this you mentioned about that that sample value speed that in that 200 microseconds and all that.
Okay.
What is how to ensure, and which is the mechanism ensures that speed is whatever 200 microseconds is maintained?
Okay. Actually, this sample value is, as I mentioned, sample value is getting transmitted over the Ethernet directly. That is, the Ethernet layer is used for the sample value transmission. So other overhead like TCP, IP, everything is removed, and it is getting directly onto the Ethernet level, and the standard facilitate you can transmit up to 200 microsecond level on the process bus using this sample value. And fast Ethernet, the dedicated fiber optic fast Ethernet is specified to ensure that this data get transmitted on a faster basis. Fiber optic fast Ethernet is recommended for this. Even though the standard recommend 200 microsecond for the sample value and 3 to 4 millisecond for the goose, but it is completely completely dependent upon the utility, what is their requirement, and they can cut it down. For example, normal application scenario, the goose can be within 10 millisecond. The application scenario, if you consider, and sample value, you can have it within 500 microsecond if the application scenarios are suitable. So that is so. In order to answer your question, the standard define a direct mapping to Ethernet level to ensure that this is transmitted on a faster basis, plus recommendation of fiber optic fast Ethernet to ensure that this data is pushed on a faster basis.
Right. The MMS, what is the speed?
MMS, it is a low speed transmission. So MMS over that, report control, I am taking that details in the second session. So report control block is specified. So in the report control block, the timing requirement is very minimal, and you can send it even within 100 millisecond is the only recommendation, because whenever you have a change, you are sending the data with the data set, a group of data, and this can be transmitted out. So that is the scenario.
Okay.
Any other question?
In this, how to ensure or how it is validated that this whatever interchange of information is within that particular time period which you have mentioned, how to validate or how to ensure that it is happening?
Okay. For example, there is a standard in the 61850, that is a 61850-10 is the standard that specifies relevant test cases. For example, in order to monitor the goose transmission, what they suggest is take a input. Okay, similar IEDs.
Yeah.
For example, vendor A, Siemens want to test a goose system and need to ensure that this is within 4 millisecond. I am able to transfer the data within the 4 millisecond. So similar two IEDs, take similar two IEDs and one connect one signal, okay, and that is connected to a goose publisher in IED A, and that is received by a goose subscriber in IED B, and again this is interlooped with a goose publishing on IED B, and that is received back in
Hello.
yeah, that is received back in IED A using a goose subscriber and a trigger and output. Okay, in A, and then use the CRO to mention the input and output. That is when you force an input, what is the output you are getting. And once you have the difference, that is this input I have triggered, I am getting the output on the same IEDs through the goose through another device. So I am totally getting the round trip time, that is the total time consumed including the network delay, and if I divide by 2 I will get an approximate time including the network delay. So this can be within say 6 to 8 millisecond including the network round trip time. So this way the standard, that is 61850-10 recommends a test on this scenario. There are a lot of certification agencies like KEMA. So if you want a goose timing to be performed in the test, we can specify as part of the certification procedure, and they will test that and they will validate this with this time. So 61850-10 says about the testing scenario, how this can be achieved, how the time and requirement can be measured, like that. Sir, so is it clear the round trip time, how it is getting calculated in Goose?
It's clear. No, my doubt was that supposing if something is not published, in case something is not happening due to some whatever failure or equipment or layer failure, how to ensure that it is published or not? We don't know. Supposing an event has happened, but it is not published.
Okay. Sir, this if you take different communication scenarios, MMS is dependent upon the TCP/IP. So whatever transmitted, we have an acknowledgement in the TCP/IP for the MMS. But Goose, since it is fast transfer is one of the key scenario in Goose and sampled value, we cannot have a flexibility of acknowledgement for each transmission. So what Goose recommend is, it is the best case delivery, but in order to ensure that even the delivery happen afterwards, this same Goose without any state change, same Goose get transmitted, for example, after 4 milliseconds again. Then after 8 milliseconds, that is doubling the time, same Goose is again getting transmitted, 8 milliseconds. Then after 16 milliseconds, same Goose is again transmitted. Like this double, it goes on until a new change comes and a new Goose get transmitted. So this way, it is ensured that even if it is missed at the first instance, in the subsequent instance, it is getting transmitted, or this is ensured even a IED which is booting up at a later point of time get the latest update through the time varied retransmit. But there is no acknowledgement, it is again a time varied retransmit. You got my point, right, sir?
Yeah, that's got it, sir. Thank you.
Fine. Any other questions? Okay, now I'm moving on to the next presentation then. Are you able to see my screen? Second presentation, overview of 61850 standard.
Yes, 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 yes.
So this is, so we have already covered all the basic, that is introduction to 61850 in the first session. These are the topic which we have covered. Now we are moving on to details of overview of the standard, that is complete standard overview. Different standard parts 7.7-2, 7-3, 7-4. Then overall communication architecture, abstract communication service interface models, logical nodes and common data classes, report, log, goose, sample value, control block, and multiple scenarios that are defined in 61850 we are trying to cover in this session, so that everybody is getting a base idea of what is 61850, what are its concept, and yeah, after that also if you have any question you can reach me out and I will be able to clarify. Because of the time restriction I am limiting it within 12 o'clock. Yeah. So introduction. The TC57 committee of IEC is responsible for the power system management and associated information exchange standard. In that there are multiple working groups. So working group 10 is involved in developing a common communication standard for substation, its functionality and general requirement, that is what as IEC 61850 standard. So these are the standard specifications. So it is a very elaborate standard. So starting from introduction overview, then next standard is standard 5 is the major one, which is communication requirement and functions and device model, which I have presented in the previous session. Then part 6 dealing with the substation configuration language, that is XML schema and other details, which I have given a brief overview in the last part. Then standard 7 deals with the abstract communication interface, data models, logical nodes and other details. So other details in the part 7. Then once that abstract communication service interface is defined, specific communication service mapping to MMS is defined in part 8, and goose is also defined in part 8. Part 9 defines the data over the sample value transformation, and part 10 defines conformation testing, which I have mentioned, that goose timing requirement and other things, how we measure that. So these are specification standard. So this part 6 defines an XML schema of representing the standard, details of IED capability, substation and IED configuration. All these details are defined in the XML schema. Then 7 defines communication structure for the substation and feeder equipment, all the data, its detail of the how an API kind of scenario, that is functionality is data model, everything is defined in the standard, that is coming under part 7. Then part 7 has got a multiple substandard. 7-1 deals with the principles and models. 7-2 deals with the abstract communication service interface, ACSI. 7-3 defines what are the common data classes that is used. 7-4 defines what are the logical nodes, that is nothing but functionality and its data classes. And 7-2 details about information model, what are the information, that is information models are nothing but the logical nodes and its data element. Then information exchange model is how to exchange the data, that is report, goose, sample value. All these details are given in the 7-2 document. 8 and 9 specific communication service mapping to MMS, goose and sample value is dealt in the 8 and 9. So this is elaborate standard. Don't go by what is there in the standard. You need to, for an engineer, you need to just focus on 7 part, that is abstract communication service interface, data element, logical nodes, and its data models are the only relevant. Others are relevant to those who implement the standard, like a payload, which is defined in standard 8 and 9. So this is the history of 61850. First we launched edition 1 of the standard. Then this went away. It got very much popularized. It reached beyond the substation and wind models. That is a wind model, distributed energy resource extensions, hydro extensions are came into picture. Then they want interoperability with the existing system, exchange over 101 and 104 was one of the key scenario. So they have defined a mapping over 101, 104, that is done in 80-1. Then between the substation, communication between the substation, they have defined a standard named 90-1. Then they want to exchange the data from phaser measurement unit, nothing but PMUs, to the control center itself. So super PDCs to the super PDC. So that standard they have defined 90-5, that is goes over UDP or sample value over the UDP. It need to go beyond the substation. So they need a UDP layer to transmit over to the control center scenario. So they have defined it 90-5. Then edition 2 and edition 2.1 of 61850 standard, they have raised a tissue, that is a technical issues in a public forum where everybody can post. That was one of the key scenario for getting the standard popularized. So there were a lot of tissues being posted, and they answered that this is the way to temporarily solve this, and they have incorporated every tissue and they have released a standard edition 2 of the 61850 standard with all the scenarios included, and this is got widely popularized. It is replacing almost every protocols in the new substation, and people are going in the new substation. This 61850 is going and getting implemented everywhere. Now it is moving on to process side also. Earlier, even though it is popularized with the within the bay and bay to station, and earlier there were a lot of resistance for the process side, it were continued to be hardware. Now they are slowly migrating it to completely digital substation. So even in the process side, they are following a process bus. So this is getting widely popularized beyond the substations also. So this is the overview. This is very important scenario. This is the overview of the complete standard with respect to a substation, how the elements are getting standardized. So this is covering an overview. Just focus on this, on the standards and everything on this slide. So this is a real substation, is indicated on the right side. So it can have transformer, CT, VT, circuit breaker, everything is there, real device in a substation. Now we want to represent this in the standard. So first thing is virtualize the real things into a virtual world, copy all the real entities, its function. So what they done is they segregated it into multiple functionalities in a substation. Like a breaker operation is one of the functionality. A over voltage protection is one of the functionality. Undercurrent protection is one of the functionality. A disturbance record collection is one of the functionality. A metering is one of the functionality. A measurement is one of the functionality. Like that, they have classified all the functionalities in a substation, and this is represented as a logical node. So logical node is nothing but a functionality. So a circuit breaker is a logical node. A metering element is a logical node. A current transformer is a logical node. A measurement is a logical node. Now once that is defined, that is logical node is a functionality is defined. what are the data elements needed under this functionality to achieve the functionality. So they have defined all the data needed. So circuit breaker, XCBR is a logical node associated with the circuit breaker. A position is one of the attribute. It is can be a status of the position or a command of the position, and mode, whether it can be a blocked condition, remote command can be issued, or only local command can be issued. So mode is another functionality. All that are defined. So logical node, its data elements are defined. So logical node comes in which standard? 7-4. 61850 7-4 deals with the logical node of the circuit. So similar to circuit breaker, all the logical nodes are given under 7-4. And all the data elements under the logical node is defined under 7-3. It is nothing but common data classes. They are defined common data classes. Associate the same with the multiple logical nodes and represented in 7-3 and 7-4 standards. Now once that is done, they have modeled all the system. Now once they are modeled, they need to define an exchange mechanism to exchange this data. So they define an overview of exchanging this data, nothing but abstract communication service interface that is defined in 7-2 standard. It details how I can operate a breaker, how to exchange the data from a system, my logical node, how to publish this logical node, this how a setting, how I can do a setting, how I can do a command, how I can publish my status, samples, everything. So overview is defined in abstract communication service interface, which is defined under 7-2. So this defined logical nodes are there. I can exchange this. I will get a correct response if it is successful. If it is failure, I will get another response. All these details are defined in 7-2. But it does not define actual payload to achieve this function. That is defined by 8-1 or 9-2, which is called as a specific communication service mapping. Specific communication service mapping onto MMS, goose, sample value, which is taking 7-2 and loading it over the protocol payload existing Ethernet TCP/IP mechanism, transferring the data out. So that is defined under 8-1 and 9-2. So this is the complete specification representation of 61850 in a single page. Virtualization of the data, defining its functionality, data element, then exchange mechanism as abstract communication service interface, then specific communication service mapping, defining the protocols and its payload for achieving the complete functionality. So this is the single page representation of complete standard. You need to just aware of this to understand the concept of 618. So moving on to data representation, focusing on the data representation. So as I mentioned, DNP3 is a standard. It goes object, index, and index can be for current, it can be 0, next time it can be 10, another device it can be 200, like that. But 61850, it is specifically mentioned. Phase voltage, phase A, instantaneous value, magnitude, and floating point. So it will be coming as PHV dot phase A dot instant C val dot mag dot F and dot angle dot F. Like that, every data is getting in a structured manner, object oriented manner in 61850. This allows 61850 devices to auto discover from a client system. Basic type, this is a common data classes, complex common data classes. This can have data attribute types, which can have basic types also. So this is the clubbing of data to achieve a functionality. There can be simple data elements grouped together to have a common data class in 618. So this is another scenario in which basic types are there, then common data classes are there, and this is data attribute types that can be analog data, vector, everything can be there in there. Then common data classes, moving on to common data classes, this is modular representation of the meaningful data. It is for the easy access interpretation. This can constitute of data attribute for each different data attribute type, and it can come. Moving on to logical. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So moving on to the logical nodes. So this is nothing but a functional representation of the data is given in the logical node. So as I mentioned, all the substation classified functions is represented as a logical node. So circuit breaker can be a logical node. Protection, all the protection function can be a logical node. All the measurement can be a logical node. And this is defined under 7-4, and 7-4 further mention the CDCs under it, and the common data classes can be specified under 7-3, which is linked with the 7-4. This is the data refinement. So 7-2, as I mentioned, it just mentioned data attribute, data name, data reference, data attribute. Then what are the services to be operated, like a get data value, set data value, get data directory, get data definition, like that. It is defined, but it provides a placeholder for other standard to fill. For example, 7-3 fills it with the data object or CDC, common data classes, that is filled. Then 7-4 further refine it with the logical nodes and its data element, like actual health is the under logical node, health is the data name, and under that ST value, so health status, and in that all the services are defined. So it is a very standard, provides a further refinement of data, and once it reaches 7-4, this is complete on the logical. And overall communication architecture, so all the logical nodes and common data classes constitute upper layer. Then this is getting abstract communication service, defines the general functionality for exchanging the data, and 8-X, 9-X specific the specific communication protocol to which this is getting mapped and transmitted. So this is the overall communication architecture. So this is abstract communication service interface. So actual PDU protocol data unit is not mentioned. So it is not mentioning any protocol, but it is how the data can be exchanged is defined in the abstract communication service interface. And actual payload or protocol mapping is defined by the specific communication service mapping from ACSI to the specific communication service mapping, like GOOS, MMS, everything is defined in the specific communication service mapping. That is why 61850 is a future named as a future proof protocol, because actual payload is hidden from it. So this is, I have already mentioned this future proofing. It is like an API, application programmable interface, abstract communication services. So make it 61850 completely independent of the present technology, for example, there can be a mapping like a JSON, SOAP, etc. earlier point of time, or a security vulnerability can be there in the present standard, and later standard has come up with a higher security feature. 61850 can define a mapping onto that, so that this is completely future proof. Then higher level services of the abstract communication service interface. There are two models: client server model, in which I have mentioned MMS kind of scenario, station to base to station communication, that is multiple servers are there, multiple clients can connect. Once that is connection is established, it is like a pipe and exchange all the data like data access control, reports, logging, etc. can be achieved. Then another scenario is over the Ethernet, directly publish subscribe kind of scenario. It is used for high speed events like boost to exchange between the devices in a substation or sample value, that is process equipment to the bearer. So this is multi publish subscribe scenario. Then moving on to further details. So information model, there can be server, then the logical device, that is nothing but, for example, a protection can be a logical device functionality. Under that you can have a multiple specific protection like a protection over voltage, over current, under current, frequency, etc. can be there. So protection can be a logical device. Under that specific protection is a logical node. Under that you can have multiple data. Then you have information exchange model, how to exchange this data with other parties, that is information exchange model. So for that there is a key mechanism which is known as a data set. Nothing but you can group data from anywhere, any logical node, any data CDCs, you can take the data group as a logical data set, that is a set of the data, and each data set is described by a specific name. So client and server known previously, this name, data set name constitute this, these are the data that is constituted. So without sending the actual data separately, I can mention the data set name and then just mention, just send the data. Then from the client side, I can interpret this is the data because I know the data set, I know everything related to the data set. So it is high reliability, high throughput is achieved in the communication layer. Because of this, you need not mention every time the tag and its data. Instead, you can send mention data set and send the same amount. Then I am not going details of service tracking. Setting group is group of data, multiple group of setting can be there, and you need to switch. For example, if there is a frequency is around 50, you can use a group of setting, and if it is goes below 49, you want another group of setting to be applied, and if it is go further down to 48, you want another group of setting to be applied. So that is done using the setting group. So there is a model for the setting group. Then report and logging models are there. I am coming into details of that. That is, you want to send a data with respect to preconditions that can be associated with the report and logging that can be sent out. Goose and sample, we have detail, and coming to slides also we have further detail. Then control mode, like a breaker operation, other things can be done using the control mode. Then time sync, that is SNTP, simple network time protocol, is used for the time sync in 61850. File transfer is essential for sending disturbance record and other as per the standard. So this is the overview of the abstract communication service model. So what we have is server, that is every IED you are a server, and under the server you can have multiple logical device, like a logical separation of data is given under the logical device, and under that you have specific functionality named under the logical node, and under the logical node you can have a control model, that is you can issue a control command, operate directly on the logical node and its data object element. Then you can have a substitution. Substitution is nothing but you have a process data coming up, and if there are some problem with the process data, every time you will be getting raw data. In that scenario, you want a substituted value to be enabled with the process element, with the transducer. That is done using the substitution. Then there are, as I mentioned, setting group can be there for different group of setting, achieving different group of setting. Then this data can be clubbed, multiple data taken from multiple places can be clubbed to make a data set which is identified by a common name, and this data set is associated with the reports, logs, goose and sample values. So I will tell you the details of that. So this data set name is there, and just knowing the client and server or publisher and subscriber knows the data set by its name, then I will not send each data element separately. Instead, the change and its position can be sent out so that client understand it. This is the data that is getting changed, so client can understand it, and then from the client side, this is very efficient way of transferring the data. I need not transfer all the tags every time. That is the. Then we have an association, that is client server association or public subscribe association can be there, time synchronization can be there, file transfer can be. So this is the overview of complete abstract communication service model 61850. Core of 61850 is this concept. Now this is a logical node, distributed logical node. As I mentioned, it can be distributed over multiple IEDs, multiple places. So IED can have a circuit breaker function, then controlling circuit breaker using the interlocks, then protection, overcurrent protection is there, measurement, metering logical nodes can be there, measurement logical node can be there, current transformer, voltage transformer, circuit breaker, all the things can reside in a single IED. Like that, multiple IED can be there with a multiple functionality, and on the HMI side you can have an IHMI or archival function. So this can be multiple logical node distributed across the system, and this can be monitored, controlled, and as per the system permission, anybody based upon the permission can perform any action on this. So this is the key concept. So this is one of the logical nodes segregated with the first letter. If it starts with the A, it is automatic control. If it is started with the P, it is protection function. If it is started with the R, it is a related protection functions like disturbance record, everything can be there. M, if it stands with the M, it is a metering and measurement logical node. So, and each logical node, there is a group based upon the logical node information is there, status, that is monitoring parameters there, what are the setting parameters are there, what are the measurement that can be there, what are the control that can be there. These classification can be there in the logical node. And logical node example is given here. So logical node name will be there. Then this is a XCBR logical nodes related to circuit breaker. So name is XCBR, and there can be prefix and suffix to that. So XCBR1 can be there, then feeder name can be prefixed with that. Then position is one of the parameter, which is switch position. It refers to double point controllable. It is a common data class. You can see position is a double point controllable common data class. So in order to get the details of the position common data class, you have to refer 7-3 DPC, double point controllable, and then this details of what are the details of the DPC will be there under that. And you can see here mandatory, optional or conditional can be there in this, and position you can see mandatory, that is any device manufacturer who is supporting XCBR need to have position as a mandatory element. That is given as mandatory. Then blocking opening, blocking closing, those elements are also mandatory. Then operation command is another attribute. Count is another mandatory parameter. Like that, optional, multiple optional parameters are there, and each vendor can define. There is a definition for all the optional parameter. Each vendor, it is flexible to include or not to include. So this is a sample view of one of the screenshot from a client side. With just giving an IP, I am able to explore all the logical nodes in the device, its data object, data attribute, everything is there, including report, logging, everything I can explore from a just giving an IP from a client tool. Similarly, this can be achieved in a SCADA system also. Data set, as I mentioned, it is a group of similar reporting needed data. That is, I need this data to be reported on a similar line. Then I can club this data out together, or similar functionality data can be there, and it can be grouped into grouped as a data set with a reference name and accessed with its single name. It can be predefined, that is pre-configured, or dynamically created from a client, this data set. It can be interrogated by a client, that is whenever this getting started up, it can poll what are the data set, data elements, and other things can be retrieved. Different type of data can be there. Allow easy access of the collection of data, as I mentioned, need not transmit all the parameters separately. Instead, I can refer it as a data set, and I can say offset, and this is the data change. Modular inclusion of different services, report, logging, GOOS, SMV uses this data set to transfer the data. Then another key thing is report control block. This is one of the key things. So you have a grouping of data, that is data set. Then this data set associated with a report control block. Now this report control block can be, so this report, each report control block has a set of data, and this data can be reported based upon a data change, quality change, data update, and can be integrity, that is a fixed time cyclic report can be there, or on demand I can get the report on demand. Then it can be given to multiple clients, multiple report control blocks can be there in a server. Then this can be used to exchange send the data from server to client, especially from a bay to station. Load, similar scenario of the report, but the major difference is that report is automatically generated, sent out based upon the trigger condition specified. Logging, it is based upon the trigger condition, it enters in the SOE, sequence of event buffer, and when the client asks for that, then only this will be sent out. Logging nodal is sent out. That is mandatory. So this is the key representation of how logs report get generated. So you have a grouped data, grouped by the data set. Now this is associated with a report control, log control block. So, and you can define trigger option which are the trigger option that need to trigger this report, like data change, quality change, data update, integrity, or general interrogation can trigger the report. And there are two types of report: unbuffered report, buffered report. So buffered report, whenever there is unbuffered report, there is no buffer. So whenever there is a report, any of this change in any of the data associated with the data set, this report is sent out. And unbuffered, there is no buffer. So when there is a communication break, this is not getting into SOE, and only latest snapshot will be available when communication is re-established. In the buffer scenario, this is getting into SOE, it is sent out in a faster basis, but when there is a communication break, there is buffer, this is getting buffered, and when communication re-established, all the snapshot containing any of the trigger that has caused the report to generate will be sent out in the buffered report. That is a report. Log, again the similar trigger condition, based upon that snapshot is taken, it enters the log buffer and it will not be automatically sent out from the client. If there is a query, this will be retrieved, corresponding logs will be retrieved and sent out to the client. So that is the report control block and log control block detail. Madam, is it audible, right? Going on. Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Now moving on to generic object oriented substation event Goose model. So Goose model, it is similar to report, but as I mentioned, report is based upon the MMS. It uses TCP/IP to send the data out, but Goose is generally subscribe, publish, subscribe kind of scenario. It is multicasted onto the Ethernet network itself, so it is a fast and reliable distribution of the data. Publisher sends the data, multiple client can receive the data. Multiple subscriber can receive the data in Goose, and it is high reliable, fast delivery is guaranteed in this. But the reliability, as sir was asking, the reliability mechanism of Goose is retransmit and retransmission with a variable retransmission interval. That is the only mechanism to ensure reliability, because we are not taking any feedback whether it is delivered or not. So that is one of the key. So Goose, the Goose element is there, then data set containing all the value. So based upon the trigger condition, it is snapshot is taken, and then this is directly embedded onto the Ethernet and published over the Ethernet to all the subscribers in the network. So Goose, again, there is a Goose control block is there, data set associated with there, and there are trigger conditions are there. Based upon that, snapshot is taken, and current snapshot is sent out as Goose onto the network. Then set get parameters are there, which can be operated over the Goose control block to change the data set, data element, everything can be achieved using the Goose control block. Sample value, it is nothing but a fast transmission of the sampled measurements from the CTs, VTs or intelligent IO modules to the bay side, and it is a continuous transmission. It is again multicast service over the Ethernet or unicast service over the Ethernet is used to send the data out. So this is going on to the control service. That is another service, control service. So control service can be an operate, select before operate, or operate, and it is performed on the CTL valve. Any control service will be performed on the control valve. And origin, there is an origin parameter, so multiple client can issue a command. So when you monitor from another client, you want to know which is the client that has given the command. So that for that, origin is used to indicate who had issued the command, and control number indicates this is an incremental number. Every time a control operation is performed, control number gets incremented. Feedback on every control is given through the status value and time of change and quality of the value, and this can be using the report or Goose. This status can be sent out separately. So this is control. So the different control model is there. One is direct control with normal security, that is a client giving direct circuit breaker open close command. Second is select before operate control with the normal security, means a client selects first so that no other client can select, then selected on the selected client can issue a command to operate the device but with the normal security. Direct control with enhanced security means you will get a feedback additional, that is direct operate command, but a feedback through the STVAL you are getting a feedback back, that is enhanced security. SPO control with enhanced security, select, operate, then followed by a feedback you will be getting, that is SPO control with the enhanced security. So enhanced security provides additional validation of supervising control action. Then as I mentioned, there is a model named substitution model also. So substitution model, if a process parameter is gone faulty or a transducer is faulty and you are receiving a faulty value to the system every time, and your operation every time this is getting a problem, then what you can do is a pre-configured ideal value you can substitute. So once the substitute is enabled, the substituted value will be getting as output, and we will be receiving the substituted value as output. And if unsubstitute is enabled, this switch will go to the process side and you will be getting process value as output. So if a substitution model is supported in any of the device, this substituted value you can write, then you can make it substitute or unsubstitute. Unsubstitute means process value will be going into the output. And setting group model, as I mentioned, this is a group of setting that can be applied under various conditions. Switching one group, that is a set of parameters from one group to another, switching can be done. Multiple copies of parameter can be there. One copy will be active at a time and one copy can be edited. That is a setting group. So there can be multiple setting group like SG1, SG2, SG3, like that. Multiple group that can be there, and one can be at an active site. For example, if your frequency went between below 49, you want SG1 to be activated, so you change from SG2 to SG1 using setting group control command. You can change it. Then you want edit in the SG3. SG3 you copy to the edit setting group, then make edits of the parameter, apply. So then this SG3 is available now. Once that is need to be triggered, switch to the SG3 so that SG3 will go into the active setting group. So this is one of the model available. So if a vendor support a setting group function, many IEDs need to have, based upon different condition, the group of setting need to be applied. The setting group model will be used. Then moving on to substation configuration language. I have already explained this in the earlier slide. This is defined in 61850-6. This is XML schema for representation of IED capability. It exchange scenario. Configuration language is defined, containing logical nodes, communication models, its data element, everything is defined. Then moving on to some of the implementation scenario. So a new device, then there is a 61850's source code library is available. It is available with the Cisco and other source code library, so you can migrate directly in a new device. Then existing device, if you want to have a migration, then meets memory requirement in the existing device and has time for development, you can switch. Similar scenario, SCL source code library can be used and migrated. If it is not suitable time, then OEM modules like a legacy substation, legacy upgrade card from Calcutech or similar can be used for integrating onto that. So this is the device level migration that can be adopted. Then system level migration, all device support 61850, or then you can directly use some device support 61850, but other device does not support, use protocol gateway or other thing to achieve this functionality. So that is one of the, so how 650 implementation is currently adopted, I'm telling this one. So this, with this, I come to end of 2 sessions. So I hope you got a basic idea of the 650 standard. Any new questions?
Sir, it was a very wonderful coverage of the entire
Thank you, sir.
it was very nice. And I think most of the attendees, they may be sending their questions separately to us, and we will mail to you perhaps to get replies, because the next session has to start by 12. Mr. Nirmal is going to happen. I think if anything, Dana and Gayatri, if there are any immediate questions, we can ask him.
No, sir. No questions in the chat box.
Okay.
So they may be giving to us separately. And I really thank you, sir. Really wonderful coverage. I mean,
thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Many doubts were cleared for me also, even though I am in the
Thank
game.
you very much. Thank you very
Very
much.
Good, very good.
Sir, on behalf of KCG College of Technology, I would like to thank Mr. K.A. Fahid Calcitech for the wonderful presentation. I'm sure that our participants could clearly understand about the IEC 61850, and they could get the maximum benefit out of this session, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much, madam. Thank you very much for all our attending. Bye.